Captain's log, stardate 3142.3. Slightly over 2 centuries ago, a group of scientists planned for a race of supermen and created conquistadors.
Name? Khan Noonien Singh.
From 1992 through 1996, absolute ruler of more than a quarter of your world.
Well, either choke me or cut my throat.
You fled. Why? Were you afraid?
I've never been afraid.
But you left at the very time mankind needed courage.
We offered the world order. I intend to take this ship. Will you assist me?
Oh, please, Khan, don't ask me.
Leave me then. The battle begins again. Only this time is not the world who wins. It's the universe. Daddy, you're no match for me. It does not matter. The captain is dead.
Is he dead? Is the captain dead? I don't think so. This is Will. This is Sci-Fi Guy. And that was Khan. That was the trailer. You just listened to the trailer from Space Seed. One of the most popular, one of the best, one of the most discussed, one of the most analyzed Star Trek original episodes ever. And of course, that was Ricardo Montalban playing Khan. Full name Khan Noonien Singh. Space Seed is the 22nd episode of the first season of Star Trek. And it was written by Gene L. Kuhn and Carrie Wilbur. And directed by Mark Daniels. First aired in 1967. Now, the sad part, or certainly the, excuse me, the unfortunate and very limiting part of the movie, the feature film, The Wrath of Khan, which we'll get to later, is that many, I don't know about many, but certainly a number of people have never seen Space Seed, which is the first appearance of Khan in the 1967 episode. So they just see The Wrath of Khan. Now, of course, if you're a loyal and good and hardcore Trekker and Star Trek fan, you're going to watch Space Seed. You probably did see it already, but there are quite a number, I'd imagine, people who have just seen Wrath of Khan. Now, my sort of recommendation, my little recipe for fun and prescription is to watch them both back to back. So watch, and I've done it several times, watch Space Seed and watch Wrath of Khan. Don't get me started on Benedict Cumberbatch with the Abrams, Into Darkness, which isn't really bad. But when we're comparing cons, when we're comparing the pros and cons of cons, I think Ricardo Montalban is safe to say the only one we'll be discussing, and we should be discussing. So, though Benedict did a great job, and I love Benedict Cumberbatch. I much rather him and prefer him as Doctor Strange. But so again, Space Seed, the amazing episode. The Enterprise crew encounter a sleeper ship, cryogenic suspension, and of course, it's Khan and his crew. And how do they repay Captain Kirk? How do they give a nice reward to the captain? They try to take control of his ship and nearly succeed. Now, from the wiki here, it says Space Seed has been named one of the best episodes of the series by Cinefantastique and IGN. The 1982 film Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan serves as a sequel to Space Seed. References to Space Seed appear also in episodes of Star Trek Deep Space Nine and Star Trek Enterprise, which are two other series where you can get some bit of a Khan fix. The full cast of Space Seed includes, of course, Ricardo Montalban as Khan, Madeline Rue as Lieutenant Marla McGivers, which of course becomes his love, and Blasdell Mackey as Spinelli, and that's one of the crew members, the Enterprise crew members. So Again, we're having, a Khan, a best of Star Trek, and Khan certainly is, in my book, I guess, the best villain. I certainly will go out on a limb. There's many. He's my favorite. The Borg Queen is a really close second. And in terms of, I guess, maybe Alien and, an alien villain, I guess the Borg Queen would be tops. But in terms of humans or just any old villain of Star Trek, he is tops. Now, obviously, then we went to Wrath of Khan. You've got to see Space Seed if you have not, and I think it's very unlikely that you haven't. But again, there are people out there who've never seen it or don't really connect the two. Sadly, what's really interesting is looking over the notes here for the development of the original episode, Space Seed. Says writer Carrie Wilber pitched it to Star Trek producers Roddenberry, Gene Coon, and Robert Justman with an 18-page outline in 1966. In the outline, he envisions the crew of the Botany Bay as criminals sent on a 1,500-year journey to make room on Earth for others. In the early days, he was represented as a Nordic Norseman criminal with a magnificent body, Harold Erickson. The producers suggested changes to the outline and suggested significant changes to the character. Gene Coon wrote, "I want to rather do more with him than you have outlined in the story." And towards the end, they said, "We want you to Carrie Wilber. We want you to build us a giant of a man." The first draft, again, he was a Nordic. His name was Ragnar Thorwald. Sounds a little like Rear Window with Thorwald, with the villain with the Jimmy Stewart and Hitchcock's Rear Window, Thorwald. The character of Thorwald was more brutal than Khan in the final version, killing guards using a phaser. Of course, the final story, is the final has Khan being given and his crew a fresh start by Kirk. It says his people would be given a fresh start, something that remains in the final episode, but the character committed murder in the first draft would have precluded such an ending, as NBC censors would have necessitated the bad guy be punished for his actions. And of course, by the final draft, Khan is an Indian. The character guesses that Khan is from northern India. And this is really neat. I remember this from way back, that Khan's full name is based on a pilot that Gene Roddenberry served with in the Second World War, his buddy, and his name was Kim Noonien Singh. Roddenberry had lost touch with his friend and had hoped that Singh's similar name might attract his attention and renew his old acquaintance. So again, a little bit of trivia. That is where the name comes from, and we all know how legendary and iconic and certainly infamous that he became. Now let's delve into Wrath of Khan, and what better way to hear a little bit of dialogue.
Khan, you've got Genesis, but you don't have me. You are going to kill me, Khan. You're going to have to come down here. You're going to have to come down here.
I've done far worse than kill you. I hurt you. And I wish to go on hurting you. I shall leave you as you left me, as you left her, marooned for eternity in the center of a dead planet. Buried alive. Buried alive.
Now, we could never have completed our little exploration of Khan, our little journey here, without hearing Khan. What's great is I read one of the comments on one of the clips for Wrath of Khan, and someone had said, and I guess I'd heard this too, that Nicholas Meyer, Wrath of Khan's director, he made William Shatner say the line Khan like 30 times, and I guess by the time he he had done it 25 and 29, 30 times. He got Shatner to give a really good angry delivery there. It's great. I'm looking over at some Ricardo Montalban interviews. Said in a promotional interview for the film, he realized early on in his career that a good villain does not see himself as villainous. The villain may do villainous things, but he feels that he is doing them for righteous reasons. He further states that Montalban tried to find a flaw in the character, as no one is completely good or completely evil, while Khan had a rather distorted view of reality and therefore performed acts of evil. He still felt that his vengeance was a noble cause because of the death of his wife. And, you look at look at Mr. Freeze and Batman. I guess I think the wife is frozen in like an internal coma, and he's always trying to get her back through his misdeeds. So the idea of love, the true and eternal love can motivate us to much, for good or evil. So there you have it. I mean, I'm sure you've seen Wrath of Khan, but again, include Space Seed and the viewing sometimes. I think will give a great, bookend and pleasurable night of viewing. This is great too. Harv Bennett, of course, was the producer of Wrath of Khan. He had never watched Star Trek before, so he watched all the episodes, did a real marathon, and then he picked Khan, after watching Space Seed, as a possible villain for the film. Early drafts of the script had Khan as a shadowy tyrant leading a planet in revolt. Later drafts added the Genesis device, which Khan would steal. And again, there you have it. The best of Star Trek has to include, Khan. It just does. There's no way around it. Here's some other reviewers. They said reviewers of The Wrath of Khan, such as Roger Ebert back in the day, rated Khan as one of the strongest aspects of the film. And New Yorker critic Pauline Kael said Montalban's performance was the only validation he has ever had of his power to command the big screen. Yeah, and I've seen Montalban in other roles, not nearly as colorful, and he was always good, but I guess it really took Khan, not only in Space Seed, but of course in Wrath of Khan. So there you have it. The best of Star Trek salutes and celebrates Khan Noonien Singh. We hope you enjoyed, and we hope you subscribe. You can do the freebie, the free, or the paid people. For $4.99, you get some nice exclusives, little goodies. Either or. Enjoy. Keep the comments a-coming. Live long and prosper, and go watch Space Seed and Khan. Watch them both, Wrath of Khan and Space Seed. See you soon.